We took a current carrying conductor and we had this current carrying conductor that was straight and it has magnetic field lines around it, which is pretty cool. Uh, so it's a wire and it has magnetic field lines around it. They go in this direction. And then I took that and I bent it. And when I bent it, they all go in the same direction. They all go in like this. And it becomes really, really strong in the middle. And now I'm going to use those same principles and I'm going to put a bunch of those toroids beside one another. So if I stack a whole bunch of those toroids, and all of those toroids have this concentration going out and into the middle, a strong concentrated magnetic flux going into the middle, then it's there's going to be even more of them doing that. So let's stack them, and stacking them would look like this then. Stacking them would look like this. Here they are. I have a, here's one toroid, and then here's another toroid, and then here's another toroid, and here's another toroid, and I'm going to stack them. And they had magnetic lines of flux on them. And one of those magnetic lines of flux looked like um, this one came out from the back and in on this ring. And then these ones came out from the back and in on this ring. And these ones came out from the back and in on this one, etc., etc. And there's only one more, so I'll draw it. And they went into the middle, into the middle, into the middle, into the middle. Now they're all going the same way. And what they're going to do is they're going to join forces because they want to be as short as possible. So they want to kind of um, combine because they're going in the same direction. So they are now going to say, hey, we're all going in the same direction. Let's just go from the back all in. Let's go from the back all in, all in. And they have joined forces and they have created quite a big magnetic field because of these magnetic flux lines. Again, they came out from here and they go up and they go into here. That kind of looks like something familiar. That looks like I had just drawn. That looks like I had just drawn something else. That looks like I just drew a bar magnet because a bar magnet has the same sort of thing, right? The bar magnet goes like this. It comes out from the bottom and it goes up and in. Out from the bottom, up and in. Goes like that. But of course, they're continuous, and they're continuous in this too, right? These are continuous in this stack of toroids. It's continuous. And look what I've done. I've created the same sort of thing as our classic bar magnet. Our classic bar magnet has a north and south pole, right? And I know that north is at the bottom here because one of the principles of magnetism is that magnetic flux lines come out of the North Pole and into the South Pole in free space. So I know north is down here and south is here. And these two things are similar. This is a stack of toroids on the left, and this is a bar magnet on the right. And because of the magnetic flux around each current carrying conductor, then I've taken the current carrying conductors, I've made them into toroidal shapes, and then I stack them together. Those magnetic flux lines have grouped themselves into a pattern similar to a bar magnet. Cool. That's something very useful that we don't ignore. That is actually what an electromagnet is. The only difference is that instead of stacking different toroids, I have to put current through this, right? That was a current carrying conductor. There has to be current in each of those toroids. Imagine powering each of those toroids separately. I don't want to power each one separately. So I'm going to shortcut this even further. In a practical manner, I'm going to shortcut this and I'm going to now make it one toroid. One current carrying conductor bent into one toroid, two toroid, three toroid, and it has the same effect as stacking toroids. This is what is called an electromagnet. What's the difference between this and this? What's the difference? Is that the bar magnet sits on my desk and has these properties, and I didn't have to do anything for it. But, right, the other one works with current. Now, do I want something that sits on my desk and is always going to be a magnet? Give or take, because over time magnetism depletes, even if in a good ferromagnetic material. But, or do I want something that has to have current running through it to act like a bar magnet? And you should be asking yourself, what if we do both? Which sometimes we do, which is great. Okay, well, it depends. Depends on what you want. Because that bar magnet, if I always want a bar magnet, if I'm hanging something on my fridge and I always want a magnet, then I go for a bar magnet. If I want to turn the magnetism on and off, I want an electromagnet. I can turn it on and off. That's the key. I can turn it on and off. And this makes me happy. I can also make it a strong magnet or a weak magnet. I give it more current if I want a strong magnet, and I give it less current if I want a weak magnet. How great is that? So that's what electromagnet is. And I think that we have done a good job of picking through and building this electromagnet by understanding the principles of magnetism. Now, it acts like it has a pole. It has poles. It acts like it has a north pole at the top and a south pole at the bottom. So I have that drawn on there, the north pole at the top and the south pole at the bottom, just like that. Now, there's also a right-hand rule for an electromagnet, which maybe I'll do soon. But um, I want to describe an electromagnet, what it could be used for. Yes, what it can be used for. An electromagnet is used for when I want some magnetism and then I don't want some magnetism. So a good example is a door lock. So you have a brother and he's younger and he annoys you and you don't want him in your room, then your door is like this, and you have um, a ferromagnetic material in the doorstop, and in the door you have an electromagnet. And you can put, if your brother's home, you can stick some current in that electromagnet, and it will be magnetized and it'll have a north and south pole and it can pull the ferromagnetic material, that electromagnet or that bar magnet, and it can join to that bar magnet. And then when your brother's not home, you can just stop the current and then the door is free to open. So locks work that way. Locks on campuses work that way. When you can get into your lab sometimes and you can't get into your lab other times, it's because we have a digital system that turns on and off the current for that lock. So that's an application of this. Now, this now looks a little bit different. So we went from bar magnets to um, current carrying conductors, and then we twisted the current carrying conductors together, and then we made it act like a bar magnet.